Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Markus Kreikebaum. I'm from EBS University of Business and Law in Wiesbaden, Germany. And I'd like to present to you the essentials of our service learning program here at EBS. Lecture number 4, Dealing with Conflicts. Service learning is not only about doing good and reflecting upon that. It is also a means to understand and to become aware of the deeper conflicts in society, to analyze them, and to find ways to effectively communicate your own values and to really try to change something within the society. Our main resource regarding value conflicts is the curriculum of Mary C. Gentile. She has developed a curriculum called Giving Voice to Values, where she shows how we can effectively voice our values in the workplace and in our personal lives. We strongly recommend that you study some of her material for this lecture. Mary Gentile claims that value conflicts are normative, which means that they happen all the time, anywhere and anytime. In order to deal with conflicts in a more strategic way, it is important to understand that there are several categories of conflicts. Now, most value conflicts fall into one of these 4 categories. Social, where there's egoism, where there's common good, the so-called social dilemma. Then we have team loyalty versus the common good. Then we have long range versus short-term benefits. And we have justice versus mercy. Now you can always think, if you have a conflict, what kind of category does this conflict pertain to, and what kind of reasons and justifications are used from the other side. One of the most common conflicts that you will encounter, that most of you encounter in the services, are team conflicts. Now, in your teams, there are some people who feel they are more dedicated or more committed to the cause they serve than others. And this naturally creates a tension in the team. So this is a big conflict that you will face. Most team conflicts then are in fact situations of a social dilemma. A social dilemma is a situation where I have to decide, should I do something for my own benefit or should I do something for the common good? And it's always present when you have to decide between these two. So this happens a couple of times during a day. Should I wash my cup or should I leave it for others to clean? Should I take my trash into the garbage bin, into the appropriate garbage bin, or just dump it somewhere so somebody else will take care of this? So these are just some everyday examples that you have value conflicts all the time. Here are some very common reasons and justifications for unethical behavior. For example, in team conflicts, some members might say, well, it is even expected that you behave that way. It is just normal that you try to optimize and only do as much as it is necessary and not more than that. So this is what we call the standard response. And if somebody says, well, you know, everybody does it like that, you can always ask, why is there a rule against this? And what would happen if really everybody would act like that? So this is a very easy way to counter a false justification of an unethical behavior. Now, the next standard response or justification is that people say, well, are you for our team or against our team? So it's a question of loyalty or false loyalty that is posed here. And then you can always ask, well, what is good in the long run for everybody? So if you only serve your team, eventually the team won't succeed because it's embedded within an organization and the whole organization has to function. So you can always ask for the greater benefit of this. Another very common justification is, oh, this does not have any material consequences, so nobody really gets hurt through me behaving like that. If you have that case, you can always ask, well, just that because there are no material consequences doesn't make it good, right? So if something is unethical or is not right, it does not become better because it has no consequences. And in fact, if you look deeper and in the long range, you will probably see some consequences of some behaviors. And the fourth question would be, this is not my responsibility. Now, this is also a very common argument, but if somebody says this is not my responsibility, you can always ask, but you feel that there's something wrong here. So what can we do together to change the situation? So these are very common justifications and some responses to that. The very best thing you can do to voice your values is to set personal examples. If you set a personal example, others can follow. They see you and they can try the same. The second best thing is to use humor when making your argument or when countering a justification. Because it very much depends on your tonality, your wording and the situation, whether you can be heard or not. And the less offensive you sound, the better are your chances to succeed with this. Most important, however, is to use your brain, to put some brain into solving a value conflict and to go about this in a more strategic way. Once you have identified the conflict or dilemma category, you would look for the arguments and justifications that are given to make that argument. And then you would look what would be the most pervasive counter-argument you could use to express your own values, and what would be the best situation for you to express your values or to counter the justifications from the other side. And then you would even try to rehearse this a little bit before you actually try it out. Here are some more tools from the Giving Voice to Values curriculum. First, keep on trying. Giving voice to values is not an innate ability. We are not born with it. It's an improvable skill that has to be learned and trained in order to improve. Identify patterns of reasoning and levers for creative problem solving. Look for sustainable solutions. Think in the long run rather than only in the short run. Consider the costs of each affected party in order to mitigate these costs to make your argument more appealing. Position yourself rather as an agent of continuous improvement than of ongoing complaint. Today's world poses a multiplicity of problems and challenges for us. However, we as humans are very constrained. We can only do very small things with a big heart. So this is the dilemma we are facing. Service learning lets us explore our own ignorances, our own privileges, our own taken as givens, and lets us recognize the world out there from a much different point of view. Giving voice to values opens up the possibility to express our values more effectively and to use some strategy when we enter a value conflict. Both approaches should give you the possibility to develop on a personal as well as a professional level. So we hope you enjoyed this series of lectures. We are very interested to hear your answers to our questions, and good luck to you.